Hello. So it turns out I forgot that I owned another system. And this is actually one of my originals. It's probably the system I owned earliest in its life. I believe I did get this in 1989. It wasn't quite at launch time, but it was maybe a couple months afterwards. So this is my original Game Boy. It's not pretty. It kind of looks rough. It was in a smoker's home, and it was exposed to a lot of direct cigarette smoke, not mine. And so there's a couple stains, and I did leave a game in here for a while, and one of the contacts, well, you can't see it, one of the contacts appears to have been kind of ruined by the fact that the game was in there so much it rusted together. I think the game is fine. I did manage to get it to kind of show an image, but it's just a little blurry right now. Probably going to open this thing up and try to clean it up a little bit. But if I need to replace it, it's not like it's an expensive system. Obviously, it's a handheld. I don't really want to get into handhelds for my collection. Obviously, I'm showing them because it's part of the collection right now. It's something I own. But I'm not going to go out and get a Game Gear, I don't think. Or an Atari Lynx or anything like that. I think this is probably going to be the only handheld I'll ever have. Even though it does kind of open up a lot of collecting opportunities, it's just not money I can spend right now. I like the console, the idea of consoles, and that's what I'm going to stick with. But I'll move this out of the way and I'll show you my games. So, all of the games in these plastic cases are some of my originals. I do have a few loose ones that I bought fairly recently, just kind of out of desperation because I had such a terrible day at the game store. So, this is World Circuit Series. It's kind of like an F1 racing game. Pretty fun. I like it. Here's, I believe it's, I can't even read that. Is it Play Action Football? Yeah, it's Play Action Football. There's a Bo Jackson game. I'm trying to stay pretty close. It's hard to see it well. I should have probably taken them out of the cases, but I was too lazy. Here's Tetris, the pack-in. It's probably the game I've played the most on my system, Golf. It's actually a very, very good game. And it's funny because I was talking to a friend and he said the exact same thing. He said, you know, it sounds dumb, but I love Golf on the Game Boy. It's a great game. Here is probably the game I played the least. It's called Torpedo Range. It was a Christmas gift. At least it was not a sports game. It was different because all my other games were sports games. This game I played quite a bit. It's Raw. It's made by LJN, so you know it's really good. They're renowned for their great games. I'm pretty sure I got that backwards. Here is a really fun game, Killer Instinct. Obviously, it's not as good as the Super Nintendo version or even the arcade. I actually never played the Super Nintendo version myself, but I did play the arcade. But for a Game Boy game, this is really, really quite good. So I'll move that out of the way. And great music. And here's probably my favorite game on the Game Boy. This Donkey Kong game is not just Donkey Kong. It's kind of Donkey Kong on steroids. It's awesome. Just a lot of fun. Great, great, great puzzle game. If you don't have it, you should get it. It's not expensive. Even though it's actually fairly rare if you look at rarity guides in terms of percentages and stuff like that. I don't know what it means. Here are the kind of newer additions to the collection. This is called Mr. Chin's Gourmet Paradise. It kind of, just from the looks of it, looks like Bubble Bobble. I did this as a blind buy. I just like the colors of the label, I guess. Here's Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan. Maybe if I back out a little bit, it'll be clearer. No, it's not. Alright. Actually, it is. And here is Gargoyle's Quest. Now, Gargoyle's Quest is not a particularly rare game. It's a very popular game, considered to be a good game. Gargoyle's Quest 2 on the NES, which actually came after this, much rarer game. And I actually own that too, which is kind of cool because I don't own anything else rare. Now, I went to visit my parents recently, and I decided I'd bring this over because it might as well be with all the rest of my collection. I'd left it at home when I went to university. And I was kind of cleaning out some drawers, and I found that I had a lot of original boxes, and Game Boy boxes are not easy to find, so I thought it was pretty cool Now, I'm not a cardboard collector, and I think that these probably have more value for other people than they do for me. I like to kind of, I'm a little bit OCD in that I want all my games to be kind of formatted the same way in my collection. I don't want boxed stuff and unboxed stuff from the same set, from the same system. So I'm probably going to try to sell these for not all that much. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. This is probably my worst box in terms of condition. It's a little kind of bumped out there, but still pretty darn good compared to some of the boxes you'll find out there nowadays. So this is for my Raw game. This game, if you listen to it, actually has all the manuals for the games, for the boxes I found as well, and a couple extra things. This is the racing one I showed earlier, the very first game I showed, and the box is in perfect shape. Here's another box that's in near mint shape. It's Torpedo Range. Again, none of these boxes are particularly valuable, but just Game Boy boxes in general have a built-in value. These aren't rare, I'll say. I would think that Killer Instinct would probably pull a couple bucks in. It's a more desirable game on the system, so I would expect the box to be worth something. And Donkey Kong, being that it's probably my rarest Game Boy game, even though it's not rare at all. And the box is, again, near perfect condition. As a kid, I thought I threw everything out, but apparently I was smart enough to keep these things. So those are 5 boxes. So yeah, that's the collection. Those are some boxes. Those are the games. Nice little stack. And there's my Game Boy. So altogether, far from my worst collection. It's pretty decent. There are actually some games I'll go after. I never had any of the Mario Lands or Mario Worlds. I don't even know what they're called on this system. You know, Mario Land. So I'll probably try to pick those up just to try them out, because I honestly have never played them. Maybe some Kirby stuff as well. But I'm not going to go all out on this. I'm really going to focus on console systems, and then if I can't find anything, then I might kind of fall back to these, because they're fairly inexpensive to collect for. So there you go. Hopefully I'll have another video for you shortly. Thanks. Bye.